that. Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, you can smack that.
You can smack it. Okay. Smack that baby. Can I go?
We're on.
On this side.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello. Welcome to the 44th episode of What the Plex. What the what? What the Plex? My name is Susan Ayers.
I'm Patty Smith.
I'm Lon Shima.
Jorge Sanchez.
Okay.
Regard me.
You go in that DJ voice. Hi, hey there, hey.
Okay, so today
Boom.
we are discussing Dragged Across Concrete, Delicatessen, Couples Retreat, and I'm thinking of ending things. So we will begin with Patty.
Okay, hi. Okay, so my movie is Dragged Across Concrete, which I love. Oh, sorry, right.
A single red ant could have eaten it faster.
You're losing perspective and compassion. There's a reason I'm sitting behind this desk running things, and you're out there with a partner that's 20 years younger than you.
Hey, Anthony's got a mouth with his own engine, but he's solid.
I'm thinking about the kind of future I can offer my girlfriend.
Pops is a yesterday who ain't worth words.
Good heavens and praise be to him. Your absence was a weight upon us.
Thank you, Mr. Edmonton.
I don't like doing things with so many question marks everywhere.
There's a lot of imbeciles out there.
Start the party.
This is a bad idea.
It's all cotton candy.
We have the skills and the right to acquire proper compensation.
Okay, so Dragged Across Concrete, which I think is just a great name for a book or a movie. It's just a great, you know what I mean, visual.
Very descriptive.
And unfortunately, it really describes the movie because it is like being dragged across concrete very slowly. So this is the story. And it does link up, but the way they, if you just looked it up, okay, what's this movie about? They'll say it's two cops who get caught on video mistreating a victim, you know, a felon. But really, that's not what the movie's about at all. But that's what they say it's about. So it starts off and it's incredibly slow paced. And even through the quote unquote, if you can see me, action shots, it's slow paced. I don't know how they did it, but if you can, it's hard to make a bullet go slow. But it is, for the first 20 minutes, I was waiting for like a witty line, something to kick it up. Nothing kicks it up, but it still is a good movie. And so these two cops are put on leave, and that's the only reason that they go to the next phase, which is they decide to rob a drug dealer. And that's basically the movie, except there's other stories involved. The people involved who are the really super bad guys who just kill everybody. There's one little story with, what's her name from Dexter?
Which one?
Oh, I don't remember
The girl from
actress's
Dexter?
name.
Carpenter?
Jennifer.
Carpenter, right.
Yeah.
Gets killed because she's a bank employee and she doesn't want to go to work because she's leaving her baby home for the first time. She gets shot in the head and that takes like 3 minutes. And then that's the end of it. That has nothing to do with the story. Nothing, right? I thought this movie in an odd way was about trust. In an odd way. Because I was trying to make a meaning out of it. Because that's what I do, right? And as it goes along, you see these super bad guys who are really just kill everybody, and you know they're going to kill everybody. And then they hire two less felons, I guess you'd call it, the guys you like.
Right.
Right. And those are like the drivers. And one of the drivers you get to know better. He has a kid, a disabled kid. He tries to get his mother out of prostitution. And you see how he's linked into the story. And funny enough, he comes out of the story too. He's probably one of the few ones that is left alive. But overall, it's just incredibly.
Spoiler alert.
It's what?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, if you're still awake at that point, I just, don't want you to have to rewind.
Kevin Spacey is Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, really. So what I'd say about this movie is you got to be ready for it not to be what you would think a Mel Gibson, Vince Vaughn movie is going to be about. Which is lots of action, which is what I was expecting. A lot of repertoire.
Kind of funny.
Yeah,
witty.
Him chewing that sandwich. I mean, that was about the funniest part of the whole thing. And when you watch a trailer, if there isn't more than that, that should tell you something. So it was too slow paced for me, but I did like it now that I'm prepared to know what it's about. But you have to get into the pacing, and the pacing is very slow.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
The end.
The end, yeah.
Well, it's sort of funny because I didn't know what to expect, except the title, like you said. I thought, that's I didn't realize it's going to be a movie about a literal and a figurative kind of title that would have.
Right.
So it's like, I just thought it was a drama. So I personally did not find it slow paced. It's like, here are these characters, you're thrown into it. I liked how it's addressed about political correctness and cops at one point. Don Johnson, who plays their boss, has a nice little role that just sort of sums up everything that I claim is sort of almost wrong with any type of political correctness with the police now. Because they are suspended, even despite the fact that they bust a drug dealer who deals to children. Right. This is the most important. A lot of drugs they bust, they get the money as well, they turn everything in, but because he mistreated this one, and I think it's fair to say he was Mexican.
It was also on video.
Somebody was taping it too.
Well, right. Well, that's the thing, but he was Mexican, and that's when even Don Johnson says, well, the new liaison who's putting this, he is also of Mexican descent. He's talking about the policeman who's investigating, right? So that's why I thought, good, they summed it up really cool about how a cop, even though doing their job and doing something good, can't be justified if they do it incorrectly. Which I thought,
one sliver of it wrong. So
then, and you'll see too, because they also treat this woman, I thought rather, they basically semi-torture her in a, if you could say a nice way, because basically he throws her in the
naked.
Well, no, he just throws her in the shower, then he turns a fan on and she gets cold.
Right.
So, but I still thought, okay, so we know they're not quite the nice guys, right? But same thing, they go on, and then you see this man who, if I'm not mistaken, he gets out of prison and goes to visit his son, who also has a handicap, but is. As you could tell, he has a good mind, because even though he's playing video game stuff, he tells himself, it's like, no, I sort of want to design video games. You think, okay, this is not just a brain dead kid who wants to play video games, like you, George, right? Where you just go out and play their games and do that 20 hours, right?
And Patty.
Patty too, okay. So it is sort of funny, and I thought, okay, so you could tell he's sort of walking back into the criminal life because he wants a better life for his son.
He's got purpose.
You could see that, right?
And he's got morals.
So then it's like, okay, and then you see these guys, like you said, the masked people who are coming in and just literally just robbing people and shooting them dead, period. And you're thinking, wow, these guys are cold. All they want is the money.
You get that.
And then as it goes along, then there's something coming up. And as you had said, yes, that Mel Gibson has got, his character gets some information about somebody being here from out of town, possibly a drug dealer. And you're right. He says, you know what? I'm sick of this. He's got to deal with his own family problems despite what he said. He's been on the force for so many years.
25 years or something?
No, he's got is it 30 years or
Maybe.
something? He says something, because he says he's 60. He says, I just 2 months shy from my 30 year retirement,
Right.
which again is a flag for anyone who's watched any cop who's about to retire, how his story ends.
And they were off for
Right?
6 weeks unpaid.
So his wife has multiple sclerosis. He has some great scenes with her and his daughter. They're also living in this, I'm assuming, seemingly ghetto-ish kind of neighborhood, only because, also under the assumption that because of the his wife's medical, that he spends all the money doing that.
Yeah.
So he wants to get his daughter out of her place because she's basically being bullied by the black kids.
You know, he tells this way better than I do.
So what it happens is that he then decides, yes, I'm going to go and I need money. He sort of recruits his partner in.
Who needs money?
Who really doesn't need money, but he has a relationship with this woman. It comes from money and is used to money. And he realized, I can't just do everything anymore. So they slowly get drawn into this. The young black man, Henry Jones, I think is the character's name, played by Tori Skittles. Or no, I'm sorry. You said Tori Kittles.
Yes.
Kittles? Kittles?
Tori Kittles.
Yeah. That, so it's an amalgamation of all these people coming together. And what is the crime? Because you really don't know what the crime is. Now,
They're robbing. Bank rob. They're robbing.
Well, no,
people.
that's what I'm saying. He doesn't know. He said he doesn't know if it's the drugs that they want. He doesn't. They even say it's possible kidnapping. They literally don't know until it comes down. So, but they're following them. So he is there at all. They're both there just on surveillance, which is why you said it's not an action movie. They're just observing most of the movie, right?
But
to
do you
find
like
out what's
it?
going on. So the thing is, it's like, okay, so it gets to there, and then, like you said, then that's when I'd say the last half-hour movie is where, in my opinion, it actually gets interesting.
Absolutely.
Because you're thinking, how are they going to resolve this? Because you have so many dramas going on, right? So I have to admit, I thought it was good enough to keep me entertained. I didn't find it slow, though, like you did.
But because you had no preconceived.
Right. I didn't see it as an action movie. I just thought, we'll see this. I was hoping there'd be some more action and, like you said, more interplay between, because Vince Vaughn is still a comic actor, right?
Have they ever played together? I mean, it's just so perfect.
You would think
and it's a wasted opportunity.
But they have. I still think they have great chemistry because at all times, because even Mel Gibson is telling the character, you can walk away. This is something I have to do because he's so set on doing that. And even
that was the highlight of the movie. Don't give that away. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
No.
Oh, Miss, I shot her in the head. They shoot her in the head.
Well, because it had nothing to do with the movie.
So I would actually recommend this movie if you want to see, but think of it more of a drama, and people put in situations like, okay, except my always makes up like, why do they always have to turn to crime? If we just take this
because it's easier.
No, not easy. It's the only thing open
easier
to them.
is the wrong word.
It's open to them.
That wasn't easy. Right.
Exactly.
It wasn't easy.
But I would recommend this movie, like I said, to see this movie. It's nice, good drama, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Me.
Right.
Yeah, actually, I enjoyed the movie too. I like the combination of Gibson and Vince Vaughn. I thought it reminded me of like a Quentin Tarantino movie, the level of violence.
Yes. Yeah.
And also I thought the movie had kind of cringy moments and anger moments that would anger people. Initially watching it, like the police violence, and so it was touching a lot of issues that a lot of people would watch it. It would hit a lot of groups. I thought a lot of different groups would watch it, and each group would get insulted. But
everybody gets insulted these days.
Opportunity.
But I thought and also I thought it was like how he brought these different stories and he brings them all together too as different people.
Right.
That Grouchy had like a 2 minutes part in the movie.
And it didn't need a famous actress.
But I also thought that the movie was, like I said, like a Tarantino movie revolving around 2 mid-level criminals, 2 crooked cops, and 3, what I call them, like serious big league criminals. And kind of like those 3 levels. Yeah. And they're getting into whatever situation they get into because we're giving away. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought some scenes were a bit long too. Like there was a lot of shots that they would sit there and I thought that shot went a little cut it down a few more seconds. Like because they're sitting in the car. Well, speaking of movie, sitting in the car. So, but but I really enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed the movie. I didn't feel like it dragged though. Even though the scenes were long, it kind of reminded me also about the deal. What's The Departed? Was it the?
The Departed was awesome.
So it kind of had the feel
We got to do
too.
that movie. That's
So
a great movie.
yeah, I didn't find it boring at all. It kept my interest, and even though it was dragged across the country.
Yes.
It was slow,
Pay attention to the title.
It was, even though it dragged. I kept up with it. I was like, I didn't fall asleep or anything. I was really there. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and much to my surprise, I didn't fall asleep either because for the first 20 minutes, I was literally stunned. I was like, these people are awful. And the people are the main characters, which is Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn. It was like, these guys are just awful.
Really?
And
What
you
part
know
made them
that
awful?
they're the cops. So where's it going to go from there? And that's what I say about all the women were victims in this. They were all victim women.
That's true.
The men were totally unlikable. Even the likable ones are unlikable.
They're flawed.
I wasn't sure who I disliked most. It was more like that. It's like, oh, I hate that. Oh, I hate him even more. You know, it was like, who is least awful? And probably the guy that is the least awful probably came out okay, but he's not that great either.
I was telling her,
It's the flawed human condition.
I was telling her, this is a criminal soap opera.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Nobody is a hero in this movie. Nobody.
That's true.
However, I found I was like kind of drawn into the plot. Literally, I was really, for the part of like, I was almost walking out like the Passion of the Christ, right? I was like, oh my God, this is so awful, right? And I was like, I don't know that I can sit here and watch it. Then about 20 minutes later, I started to get more involved in the movie. By the end of it, I was just in the movie. I was like totally into it.
Exactly.
Once I accepted everybody was cynical and jaded.
I'm so jaded. I didn't even think it was that violent.
But it was going with chips. What a nice guy.
I began to relax and I accepted that. Right. And then I enjoyed it. Enjoyed, not really the right word. I didn't enjoy it.
Right.
I was interested. And let's see, I got one thing from this movie. If you are a woman and you have intuition, follow it.
Okay, that was the Jennifer Carpenter one.
Yes.
That had no relation to the movie.
You know, it was like she almost knew.
Well, she's such a good actress.
Well, I'm talking about the character.
Me too, but she was getting on my nerves. Like, how could she
get in? She was hardly in it for any length of time.
She was unnatural. I mean, I can understand the
she
first
was natural.
stage.
She's the only natural person in the movie.
And they popped her off quick. Yeah, it's not even. What do you call those things? What do you call that? What do you call those things? When you tell something about the story.
Spoiler?
Yeah, that's not even a spoiler alert because it has nothing to do with the movie.
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. I think it kind of shows
she's in the bank.
How ruthless these people are.
That's true.
I have one other thing to add, that the pace of the movie is slow, but it totally worked for me. It totally wove me in more. You know what I mean? It was like kind of like, what? Where's this going? Because they will be in the car for the longest period of time. They'll be driving for the longest because they're mostly on a stakeout. And Patty, it was almost accidental that they found this thing.
Well, I thought, funny enough, you saying that, it was really probably how cops' lives are. Slow, like being dragged across cement, like where you're just waiting.
But it's also wasn't like to be on a stakeout too. It's just boring and boring.
Yeah, it was boring, and then it got really interesting.
But they did not really stumble. You know, he went to some guy that tells him what's going on, like where's the deals are happening.
Udo Kier.
Yeah, so he goes. So there's some deal going on with this guy. Okay, well, let's go stake out the guy. He's thinking he's just gonna go.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he doesn't realize that he's going to stake out some
serious shit there. Yeah. And it's kind of like, woohoo, this is interesting. Right. So, okay, are we ready to
rate it?
Rate?
And I hate to say this is my movie, and once again, I picked a movie that I didn't like, that I didn't watch before I chose it, but it was the title. And it's Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn. I gave it a 5.
Oh, I gave this a 6.
I gave it I should give it an 8.
I give it a 7. I thought it was. It's not my kind of movie, but.
And you know when
you're really going to hate my next one.
When the Mel Gibson did that movie Hacksaw Ridge, because Vince Vaughn was in that movie.
Which movie?
Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, great.
That's
movie.
when Vince
Vaughn
Vaughn
was in that movie,
brought the story to Mel Gibson,
right?
To tell him we got to do this kind of thing, and then Mel Gibson took care of the rest.
It's really interesting.
We
This
should
week,
have done that movie. That's a great movie.
and this week I had, I love Vince Vaughn. I think he's great on film.
I love Mel Gibson,
but I have actually never seen him. Well, other than Hacksaw
Ridge,
yeah.
Oh, in a serious role?
Serious role in that.
He can do both,
and he's excellent. And in this, he played a serious role
He did
too.
well, yeah.
I kind of was hoping he would be funny because it's Mel Gibson. He'd be the
he can do comedy and drama.
I like him a lot. I like him a lot. Yeah. And he was saying everybody on the set was like so tough.
That's the other one.
Oh, okay, that's the other one. Okay.
Giants. Okay, so we'll be back.